He specializes in helping realtors like yourself generate leads on social media. Today, we talk about what platform is best to use depending on who you are, providing value through content. What does that mean? And trust me when I say you're gonna wanna watch till the end when he tells me about his craziest showing ever.
There was monkeys everywhere.
What?
Well, I was a realtor for 18 years. I started real estate when I was 19, and that was fun, interesting, trying to figure that all out. Then I was a brokerage owner for, probably about, had to be 6 or 7 years, I'm guessing. And yeah, then I started dabbling in, I started my own YouTube channel, and I was a computer tech years ago, before I was a computer tech for a couple of years, because I started when I was 19, realized that wasn't kind of what I wanted to do. So instead of doing that, I got into real estate. I kind of married the two together because I was huge into technology. And then I kind of utilized that for my business. And yeah, it helped me quite a bit. So when I figured out that all worked, then I had probably a couple of years ago created a YouTube channel and taught everybody kind of the strategies that I use, and that evolved into social media. And now I just teach realtors how to better their business and how to generate leads through social media. I enjoyed it so much that I thought I'd do this full time, and this is what I'm doing now. So I'm not actively selling, I'm helping the brokerage with their social media. And yeah, now I
Right.
do this all the time.
That's amazing. I actually was, that's how I got to know you. I think I quickly had said I was signing on with my brokerage, Century 21.
Yeah.
And Doug, who is the branch manager and deals with training a lot of people, he's like, oh, you need to check out Shawn. And then from there, I was like, well, let's just see if you want to do an interview and get some information, and hopefully I say viewers, my 140 people that subscribe to me right now,
Yeah,
they can get some valuable information from you. So,
absolutely.
quick question. I was reading up on you and everything. So, do you focus mainly on Facebook ads, or you're all over every platform right now?
The course that I teach focuses on Facebook and Instagram. So we deal Facebook and Instagram, how to generate leads organically, and then through a paid approach with Facebook ads as well. And then aside from that, I mean, I dabble in everything. So anything and everything. If people have questions about, how do I use YouTube, or what's some different strategies for different platforms, obviously we discuss that, and I'm happy to help out. And yeah, I love what social media has done and how it's generated business and the power of it. So I love sharing that and letting other realtors experience how great it can be.
Yeah, it is very, very powerful. And is there a certain platform that you specifically, if realtors were just graduating, because that's predominantly who my viewers are. I recently just graduated the program. People who are subscribing to me are looking for tips. I'm kind of documenting my journey. If you had to pick one platform right now to say, yes, focus your energy on this platform, which one would you recommend?
Oh, that's a good question, because it really depends on who you want to have as your audience and what you enjoy.
What do you mean by that? Like, can you break it down a
Right.
little bit?
Yeah, right now, I mean, the one that's getting your most engagement and can help you to grow the quickest is TikTok. I mean, even myself, I'm still learning TikTok. I'm creating videos for it, and it's a slow process, but I do know that the growth is there if I put in the time. I just haven't put in enough time into it, so I know that's my own fault. So that's going to be, if you maybe want to do something different and you really enjoy video and it's kind of fun for you, I would definitely go that route to try to grow, because I think that's where you're going to get the most organic reach right now and have the biggest potential of growing.
Okay.
If you're wanting to go, maybe video's not your thing, and you're wanting to target more broad that everybody's on, well, I mean, obviously still Facebook is kind of the king with users. They've got the most users on their platform. Instagram's right there too. So that would be,
Hmm.
probably my number one and number two right there, because that's everybody's on it. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody's grandparents are on it now. It used to
Right.
be Facebook years ago. It was just like, oh, it's only the teenagers that are on it. And then as time goes on, with every social platform, it ages up and eventually people get on it. And so, I mean, it's the same with TikTok. When TikTok first started, it was just kids that were on it. And then eventually now there's a lot more older generations that are starting to get on it and watch it too. So,
Yeah, actually, with the pandemic, TikTok, I was like, I'm never going to be on TikTok. And
yeah.
then I was. And then we started creating videos. Yeah, I mean, I closed my account a little bit because I closed it down. But now with you saying that it's a good place to start, obviously, I like doing videos. I've started a YouTube channel. So I'm okay with being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
However, I actually didn't know how much TikTok is really generating leads. And yes, you can get views, but what are those views turning into? Is it bringing in buyers and sellers, or is it just showing people who you are and what
Right.
you're about and that type of thing? So I hadn't really geared that route. Did you have a thought on whether it is actually generating leads, TikTok?
Yeah, I do know there's realtors where it is generating them leads, and it's just again more about brand awareness and people knowing about them. So if you can put out enough content and people are consistently seeing you, it's just kind of a snowball effect. And then years down the road or months down the road, when they're ready to buy or sell, they're like, well, who am I going to use? Oh yeah, I keep seeing that realtor on TikTok all the time. Let's contact them and see what they're about. And the more you can, I always find that you just provide good value to your customers, give them something entertaining, or giving them something that's
Of value.
a value. If it's, if they have a burning question to something that you can provide an answer to, or anything like that, that's where they really appreciate you. It's not about, you see a lot of realtors out there where it'll be, here's my new listing, here's my open house, here's the award that I won. And it's
Right.
more, they're posting about them. You need to make it more about the customer, and that's where you'll win.
Right. That's exactly what my husband said to me as well. He's like, yes, people care about you, but not really, and you need to give them value in what you're providing. When you're saying that, what is something of value to them? Can you give some examples? Because personally, myself, I'm actually stuck on that as I am a new agent. I don't know that much. So, what is it that I can bring to people other than market updates? Once I get the ball rolling, I do plan on doing market updates, but do you have something other than market updates that would
For
provide
sure.
value?
Yeah, I mean, market updates are great. You don't want to do them all the time, because then you might turn people off as well, because they're like, oh, there's Carrie, she's doing another market update again. And yeah, so
Exactly.
you want to kind of spread those out, so people are like, oh, well, now I want to know, what is the market doing today? Whereas if it's kind of something you do every week, people are like, well, I know it's not really going to change from week to week. It's more of a every couple months type of thing. So aside from that, it would be, my favorite was always showing off the community. So if I could go to my community and I could say, okay, here's the top parks of my city, or the schools, the neighborhood. So maybe I pick one neighborhood and say, here's why you'd want to live in this neighborhood. The park is close by. It's walking distance to shopping. There's these top restaurants right here.
Yeah, that's a great.
There's these top schools. That one always went off really good. And then probably my favorite, especially as a new realtor, that I would jump on is collaboration. So where I would go out and I would interview a local business, those were gold. So
Really?
yeah, so basically what you're doing is you're reaching out to a local business saying, when I did it, we had our team was the Go team. So I called it Go Shop Local.
Oh, I love that.
And what we do is we go out and interview a local business and bring some spotlight to them. So the good thing is when I would reach out to the people to ask for an interview, they, for one, were excited. So, some maybe were apprehensive because they weren't comfortable on video, which is fine. There was some where we couldn't interview them, but some were like, yeah, this is great. What's this going to cost me? What do you charge?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, this is free. We're just trying to bring awareness to you. And
Awareness.
they just couldn't believe it. They're like, what? You're doing this for free? Like, what's in it for you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to bring awareness to the community. The community's great to us. I mean, this is where we do business. So we want to, and help you out and spread awareness. We want people to shop local. So we would interview them. When I first started it, I just did it with my phone and my tripod. And then as I got busier and I grew, then eventually I had the extra funds that I could hire somebody to film it for me. So you don't have to be there right away. Just the phones we have now are amazing. They've got amazing cameras. It's not like when I started 18 years ago where it was kind of sketchy. Now they're amazing. Go interview them, ask them some questions, cut it up if you need to take out the dead space, and then post it.
Dead air. If I have to hear about my husband, dead air, cut out the dead air. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways.
I have a lot of that in mind.
Me too.
So we'd edit it up, we'd post it, and then what we do is we tag the business in it that we interviewed, and we'd encourage them to share it, because we'd say, obviously, if you want more exposure, we'd like you to share it. It's going to get your face out there. So the beauty is with social media, sharing gets you by far the most out of anything else. I mean, if I always looked at my analytics, there'd be people that would like it, there'd be people that would comment on it, but the more shares I got would give me by far more reach than more comments or likes. So they would share it. It would put it in front of their audience. So now their audience is being exposed to myself. Yeah. And then they may have family members or mom or dad that are going to share it too, because they're proud to see it. So it got a lot of shares. And a little bonus, or a couple bonuses, is the odd time I'd be doing the interview and they'd be like, well, you know what, by the way, we've been kind of thinking about maybe upgrading. What's your thoughts? Or what do you think the market is like right now? That would generate another conversation. Right. Sometimes I get to go do a CMA for them on their home. And then sometimes I'd have other people that they know come to me being like, oh, we saw the interview you did with John or Susie and thought it was great. We're thinking of upgrading, or we're thinking of moving our business. I mean, it started to get a lot of those conversations.
I love it.
And then the other bonus on top of it, this is exactly a bonus. This is nothing that's going to help you in your business, but especially if I interviewed a restaurant or anything like that, a lot of times I got some free food out of it. So I'd go there and they'd be like, oh, well, we did a bakery one time, and they're like, here's some free cupcakes for you. And we're like, oh, sweet. So it's kind of, I made a lot of new connections. I made a lot of new friends by doing that. I learned about a lot of new businesses. And because I did it every time, I'd have friends, family, and even customers reach out to me and be like, hey, we're thinking of doing this event. Who's a caterer, or who's somebody that sells this product, because they knew I was doing that interview all the time and I usually could think of somebody. So it was just an amazing way to get my face out in the community and get to know more people.
That is amazing. I am going to do that next week. So thank you. Now, for myself, I'm very comfortable in front of the camera and interviewing people, as you can tell, or talking to them, getting to know their business. What if, for anyone who is watching this video and they say, I can't do video, I can't be in front of the camera, I'm too shy. Do you have something besides video or kind of a trick that can help them get comfortable in front of the camera?
I'm glad you're asking me that, because a lot of people will watch my videos and they'll be like, oh, it's so easy for you, it's so natural. And I tell them, when I started real estate, I still consider myself an introvert today, but I was the most introverted person you'd ever meet, the shyest person. A lot of people actually were surprised I was getting into real estate because they thought the business would eat me alive because of how shy I was. Really? And when I would started on the path of thinking, okay, video is going to be big, I need to start doing video, it terrified me. I was the worst on video. I would get in front of, I would be like, okay, I know what I'm going to say. And I'd turn the camera on and my heart would start pounding and my palms would get sweaty and I'd just freeze and I couldn't do it. And then when I did get to the point that I kind of maybe could do it, I talked like a robot and I was very monotone and it just like my personality, my voice, everything changed when it came on. It was like, I don't know how, I can't do
Yeah,
this. So I get
froze.
it. You're scared. I've been there. Trust me. What you're seeing now, and even I likely need some work on it, did not come natural. But now I've learned to be myself. Like when I'm talking to you, this is how I talk to you. If we're having a really regular face-to-face
Yeah.
conversation, I stutter, I make, you know, there,
Mistakes
right
or
there. My
whatever.
thought went away. I have
Oh,
to,
totally.
it
You're
happens
human.
all the time.
Everyone's human, right?
And that just shows who you are as a person. It shows that you're a real person. You're not scripted. And that's
Hmm.
the best way. So what I used to get caught up on, I would have a script and I thought I had to read it perfect. And if it wasn't perfect, I had to re-record it. And that just made things more complicated. So what helped me to get over my fear was Instagram stories. I started with Instagram stories. And what I do, I just have my phone down here. What I do when I started a story is I might just have this camera on and I just kind of do a pan and then maybe put some text on it. And then once I got comfortable with that, I'd maybe put this camera on, maybe do a selfie video of me not talking. Once I got comfortable with that, then eventually I would maybe do something with me talking on the camera. So it was just practice, practice, practice is what I'm getting at. And start small, do just something. You don't have to be in there, but start with video. And then as you get more comfortable and get to be a master at it, then graduate up to where maybe you're talking, but you're not on the camera. And once you get used to that, then turn it around where you are on camera. And eventually with enough practice, you'll get there. And if you're not there yet, then yeah, start finding take some photos and write some stories about the photo you took. Do a blog. There's a lot of different a podcast. Some people might be comfortable doing voice but not having their face on there.
Right.
There's a lot of different options you can do with social media. It doesn't all have to be video. Just, I mean, obviously video gets you more engagement, so if you can, I do encourage you to practice and get to that point. But just starting and doing something and getting that practice is better than nothing at all.
Yeah, do something is better than nothing. Exactly.
That.
Now, I'm just switching gears a little bit. So if someone did go ahead, they made their ad and they wanted to post it on Facebook or Instagram, and I know you kind of specialize in ads and the algorithm and everything like that. What would you say is the best way to target their audience?
If they're wanting to generate leads, like
Yep.
now leads, the best success we've had is where we create a list of homes. So again, you're trying to provide value to the customers for them to give you your name and their email address in return. So basically you're posting an ad saying, click here for a list of homes. It depends on your community. So say the average price in your community is 500,000. You might do a list saying, here's a list of homes in between 400 and 500,000 in this community. The more specific you can be, I found, the better. Don't just do a list saying, here's a list of homes in the entire city.
Right.
If you can say, here's a list of homes in the X neighborhood. And again, depends on your community. Maybe if you live, in Texas or Florida and somewhere warm, you might say, here's a list of homes in this price range in this neighborhood with a pool. Or if it's where I live, it might be, and you're doing it in the wintertime, might be, here's a list of homes in this price range with a heated garage. So you're doing something more specific to get people to, it's something that they want to click on to see what's available.
I think
Can they get
the main topic of, so it seems with everything, is what value are you bringing? So like even with the ads, what value are you bringing? With the content you're posting, what value are you bringing? It seems like social media has kind of taken a switch from just pictures. No one wants to see your picture anymore. It's what value can you bring to me?
Yeah, and even if it is a picture, there might be a story behind it. You might just have a picture of a file folder and say, this is one of those deals I had that just, some go great, some don't. And this is one where we had troubles all along the way. And, you leave names out of it, but you say, okay, this is what happened here. Financing was a struggle, but we had this person come in and that helped with this. And then the home inspection came up. There was these 5 issues. This is what we did to deal with that and make sure the buyer and seller were happy. It's
Mhm.
just another story you're telling, showing your expertise, and people they like to hear stories. So
Yeah.
it's something more entertaining again,
And
because
engaging.
as you get longer in the business, you'll realize there's people that like to hear that stuff. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
what's the craziest thing that's happened to you in real estate, or what's, they're always wanting to hear kind of that interesting stuff and the story. So if you can tell
Yeah.
that story, that's going to be better. So every time I make a post, I just think, what's in it for the audience?
Right.
What's the audience going to get out of this?
So, just again, changing gears completely. What is the craziest thing you've seen in real estate?
Oh, there's been so many.
Is there any that you can share?
Yeah, well, I can think of two off the top of my head. So one is, I was pretty new in the business. I had another realtor that wanted me to show a house for them. It was their listing. Opened up the door, and I think there was tenants in the house. They weren't there,
Mhm.
but I remember the house, when you show it when there is tenants, sometimes it's not kept the nicest. They're probably not the most excited about selling. So we went through the upstairs. It was kind of meh, nothing exciting.
Right.
Go downstairs, and all of a sudden there was this smell. And I was like, what the heck is that smell? But I was ahead of the customers, and I flipped on the lights, and it was an old like 50s basement, cinder block walls. And I remember looking, and just around all the outside of the walls was lined with cages. And in the cages everywhere, there was monkeys everywhere.
What?
And like,
Oh.
I'm from northern Canada, and yeah,
Yes.
you don't see a monkey anywhere. So it was
Wow.
there was monkeys. They were yelling at me. They were screaming. They were not happy, and there was like all different breeds, and it was just like,
Oh my
is this
gosh.
is this even legal? Or
Yeah.
and it was, I mean, we weren't interested in the house, the customers, but I remember just like standing down there being like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
That is too funny. Well, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up a little bit. If you're okay with it, I'm gonna do some rapid fire questions. Have you done them before?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Fire
cool.
away.
Perfect. So, when you think of the word successful, who is the first person that comes to mind and why?
Somebody I do like to follow. Great question. That I have really had to think about that one. But I guess when you said it, the first person I thought of, because I try to model my stuff off of, was Gary Vaynerchuk. He provides a lot of good value to his customers. He's giving good advice all the time. And yeah, I guess I
Yep.
see as somebody helping other people as
Being
successful. It
himself.
doesn't
Yep.
have to be about awards or, I made $1 million. It's just, and he's made a lot of money, but
Mhm.
he just still providing good value no matter what and who the person is. I mean, money to me doesn't seem like an issue to him. So to me, that
Yeah.
I see that as success.
Yeah. I love him too. What is something you believe in at work that other people think might be insane?
What do I believe in that works?
Yeah, believe in at work that other people might be like, Shawn, you are absolutely crazy, but you still always do it.
Be myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like anytime I did my social media posts, if anybody has seen my Instagram, a lot of my photos, I'd be jumping or I'd be doing a flip or walking on my hands. And it's just, I was trying to show who I was in myself, whereas a lot of other realtors would see it as unprofessional and being too silly. And I did struggle with that quite a bit when I did post stuff like that when I started years ago, especially with being, I think maybe when I started, I wasn't an owner yet, and then becoming an owner. And some of the partners that I was with looking at it like, you're hurting our reputation and stuff. I mean, I battled with that a lot, but that's where my audience grew and how I got a lot of like-minded customers coming to me. And I had the best customers ever was because of being myself on social media.
Right, right. No, I agree. And how has failure shaped you in your life?
It's made me a stronger person. I don't believe you can grow without failure. You can't just do something and it's going to be successful 100% of the time. So to me, failure, it helps you when you are starting that new project or doing something, to know that there's going to be those little bumps in the road and to not let them bother you.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you have that end goal in mind, you know you're going to get there. You just know you're going to have some hold back getting there and maybe some setbacks. But if you know that to expect them, then it's going to be a lot easier. Whereas if I didn't have that failure at the start, and then when I went to start something new now, I might quit because I
Mm-hmm.
might think, oh, this isn't working. But now that I know, hey, this is just ordinary,
It's
it
part of
makes
the
me
journey.
go on. Yeah, absolutely.
So, giving, like I said earlier, my overwhelmingly huge following of 140 subscribers, do you
It's going to
have,
grow.
I
It's
hope
going
so,
to
I
grow.
hope so. Do you have any words of wisdom for them?
Starting off as new realtors,
Yes.
yeah, be consistent, don't give up, and just like I said, what the question you asked about the failure, just keep going. If you have that end goal in mind, you'll get there. A lot of anything with real estate or social media, anything, us as humans, I feel like we're programmed where we want instant gratification. And if we don't
Mm-hmm.
get it, we give up. And I find that a lot with realtors on social media. They'll post consistently like I tell them to. It'll be a month in and they'll be like, I didn't get anything out of this. It doesn't work. I give up. And unfortunately, with anything, if you want to get something out of it, you got to put a lot of time and effort into it. I mean, my social media, I've been doing this for many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
but it took me a couple of years to ever gain traction and start to get noticed. And it was a lot of posting content and a lot
Yeah.
of crickets until anything did happen. So just
And
whatever.
probably being consistent was key as well, right?
Absolutely. If you
Yeah.
anybody watches my YouTube videos, they'll know I'm huge on consistency. That's my number one thing. So if you're starting anything, whether you're, if you're saying, yeah, social media is going to be my thing,
Yeah.
or you know what, I'm better, I'm going to do door knocking or cold calling, whatever it is, just be consistent with it, become a master at it, and don't quit. Just keep going.
Amazing. Thank you, Shawn Bell. Where
Well,
can
thank
everyone
you.
find you?
So YouTube, if they go youtube.com/Shawn Bell, that's SHAWN, and then Bell, just like ding dong bell, BELL. And then Instagram is my handle is Shawn Bell _coach. I've got the same one for TikTok, which hopefully will start growing that as well.
Yes.
And yeah, that would be kind of the major ones to check me out on. And I'm an open book. So if anybody has any questions or they're saying, hey, what could I do here? What's a tip you have for me?
Yeah.
Send me a message. Always happy to help out. And then if people need more help from there, I offer the course as well to help you generate leads through social media. So I'm always happy to discuss that too.
That is absolutely amazing. I'm going to put everything you said also in the link in my YouTube so people can go find you. I'm going to post it on Instagram. Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
so much for sitting down with me. And
Thank you for having me. Great job with what you're doing.
thank you.
You're doing amazing. Keep it up.
Thank you.
You've got the right idea with what you're doing and starting. And yeah,
Well,
you're
I accredit
doing
it to my
great.
husband. He does YouTube for a living, so he's kind of like, get on a channel, do it. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But so
Perfect.
he keeps me consistent.
It's good. You need to have that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Shawn, and we'll be in touch for sure. I'll be reaching out.
Thank you. Anytime. Take
Okay.
care.
Thank you. Bye.